Your staff had a chance to look at. This is a minor change. And that's what we're talking about.
Before we're going to be disdainful of the point, we got the substitute on Friday. We got the modification when we walked in. The modification is what removes Donald Trump from the bill. It's a big change. The modification vote is what we're going to have. You're right. Substitute didn't include the president. Yes, the bill will treat Congress and the president equally in the bill with the modification. Without the modification, it treats the president immediately. We will be voting to modify the substitute to not have this bill apply to Donald Trump while he's in office. That is what the vote is before us. But I sort of resent you treating our members by saying, oh, you don't know about a computer? I mean, you know better than that.
He complained it came via computer, Mr. Chairman. I was just, I'm sorry.
Mr. Peters, if you want to have a who knows more about technology battle, let's have that battle. So I know more about technology, my pinky, than you do. Can you explain on page 4 and 5 what the changes are? Could you walk me through the changes that were made on pages 4 and 5? Because you know this bill off the top of your head.
The changes with the
So what's the changes in page 4?
The change in the change that was made, my understanding is the change was just on the date.
That's incorrect. All right, how about the changes on page 5?
What's up, Patriots? Welcome back to Right View Nation, the home of truth, freedom, and unapologetic American grit. If you're tired of the lies, the corruption, and the utter circus that Washington, D.C. has become, you're in the right place. Before we dive into today's bombshell, smash that subscribe button, hit like, comment down below with your thoughts, and share this video far and wide. We've got to keep this message alive, because mainstream media sure won't do it. Let me ask you something, folks. Is this how a serious nation runs its business? We've got senators, grown adults elected to represent us, sitting there with no clue what they're voting on. Literally. One senator said, "If you had a gun to my head, I couldn't tell you what we're voting for." And you know what? I believe him. Because these people are drowning in bureaucracy and drowning us along with them. They're being handed mountains of paper, confusing amendments, changes buried in digital files, and they're expected to cast a vote that impacts you, me, and the very fabric of our republic. This is a mockery, an insult to the American people.
Can I ask a new guy question here? This is obviously really important. And by the way, I made a decision to sell every single one of my assets before the primary. Just be clear on that. But here's my question. Is this really the right way to run a railroad? We're being thrown at us reams of paper, lots of dialogue, and then we're taking a vote. If you had a gun to my head, I could not tell you what we're about to vote for. I have no idea what we're voting for. I was a co-sponsor with Senator Hawley on the Pelosi Act. Pretty straightforward. I read that bill. I have not read the mountains of paper that's in front of me, and I think it's wholly irresponsible for us to sit here, pretty much, let's be honest, this is a publicity show, and then be asked to vote on something where we have literally no idea what we're voting on. I mean, I'm sitting here asking my fellow senators, like, what do we actually, is there underlying amendment, substitute amendment? These are all words that you guys use every day, but for normal people, these are not normal words. So if there's a way to actually have a conversation in which we understand, hey, here's the bill, you've read it, you understand the implications one way or the other, and then we can have an adult, intelligent conversation, we pass it. I think it is important for us to restore faith in our institutions. But to just put a vote out there where we have literally no idea what we're voting for is gross incompetence and irresponsibility.
So first off, if I may, Mr. Chairman, the substitute was put out Friday. So you've had several days to look at the substitute. This is just a very minor change.
Text was just handed to us.
Well, it is everything that went to your office on Friday with one minor change, is my understanding.
We got it when we arrived in the committee.
Hold on one second.
This is my
Senator, with all due respect, look, sending something out Friday through some random computer system is also disrespectful to people on this committee. Why wouldn't you, if we're going to pass something, why wouldn't we have an intelligent conversation that says, hey, I'm the co-sponsor of the bill, that says, hey, this is what we're looking to change, and here's what it is, and read through it, and this is why we thought about it. Let's have a thoughtful meeting. Look, if we ran businesses this way, you wouldn't have to be an entrepreneur to run for office. You'd be flat broke. This is the most absurd process I've ever seen. And again, if we're talking about having faith in our institutions, if you guys think this is normal, all of you have been here too long.
Well, Senator, we do use computers in the Senate. I know that might be kind of weird for you, but we do use those. And we send them to your staff, and your staff, my staff looks at the things that come in because it's on a markup, and we go through it. It's actually the bill that passed last session,
but
too.
let's be
If
very
I may
clear.
finish, Mr. Chairman. And so this is only a change. There was a date certain as to, was it 27, I think, and instead it was changed to the term of an individual. And then let me go back to, I mean, President Trump is treated like every other member. There's no trading within 90 days. We deal with the trading issue right away, which I think is probably 95% of the problem is the trading. And this bill, this substitute deals with it after 90 days. The president, members of the Senate, members of the House are all going to be impacted by it. And that's what passed last Congress. This is what was in the substitute via computer, as odd as that may be for you. It went via computer to your office. Your staff had a chance to look at it. This is a minor change. And that's what we're talking about.
Before we're going to be disdainful of the point, we got the substitute on Friday. We got the modification when we walked in. The modification is what removes Donald Trump from the bill. It's a big change. The modification vote is what we're going to have. You're right. Substitute didn't include the president. Yes, the bill will treat Congress and the president equally in the bill with the modification. Without the modification, it treats the president immediately. We will be voting to modify the substitute to not have this bill apply to Donald Trump while he's in office. That is what the vote is before us. But I sort of resent you treating our members by saying, oh, you don't know about a computer? I mean, you know better than that.
He complained it came via computer, Mr. Chairman. I was just, I'm
If you
sorry.
didn't get the
Mr. Peters, if you want to have a,
modification,
if you want to have a
you
who
can get the
knows more about
modification
technology
Mr. Chair.
battle, let's have that battle.
So-
Maybe I know more about technology, my pinky, than you do. Can you explain,
okay.
can you
Very
explain
good.
on page
Very
4
good.
and 5
Mr.
what
Chair.
the changes are? Could you walk me through the changes that were made on pages 4 and 5? Because you know this bill off the top of your head.
The
because you've read it so
changes
well.
with the
So
times.
what's the changes in page 4?
The change in,
Deadline.
the change that was made, my understanding is the change was just on the date.
That's incorrect. All right, how about the changes on page 5?
Take a look at
So you don't know. It was delivered to you on a computer. You didn't read it over the weekend?
This-
So what were the changes on page 5?
The dates are
If you
changed
don't wanna-
throughout, Senator.
That's not the dates. It's not true at all.
I got this from Senator Hawley's staff, who gave it to us, and that was the change that they
So you
said
don't,
was the
you
only
can't
change.
When
explain
did
the
you get
changes
the
on page 4 or page 5.
So,
Could,
yeah.
could I just, Mr. Chair, I just want to take a step back. Our staffs did get the substitute. They did brief, at least I got briefed on what it was, and I got briefed on the change that was handed to us this morning. But the bigger picture, it seems to me, and I just want to be clear, what this bill would do is apply to the president as well as members of Congress to prevent them from trading the stocks they currently hold within 90 days of the passage of this bill. So that is, in fact, applying to Donald Trump in the present, and I want to be very clear about that. Like all members of Congress in this legislation, Donald Trump does not have to divest unless he were to start another presidential term. And the reality is that he is in his second term, so the Constitution prevents that. But the vice president would have to do the same thing if he were to have another term. We would all have to do the same thing. But it gives members the choice to decide whether they are going to divest or run for office. And that seems to me to be a fair way of addressing some of the concerns that we've heard from opponents of this bill. So I just want to take a step back and be real about what does and doesn't apply to the president right now and what is in this bill, and echo Senator Slotkin's and others' view that this is a major and important step forward. To my colleague from Ohio, we have debated this issue on this committee now for several rounds, including in the last Congress, and there's always somebody who finds some small thing to say, well, let's just wait, let's just delay it. I think the work here has been really good. I think you've heard Senator Hawley agree that as it comes to the floor, if there are other changes or clarifications people want, he will work with them on that, and there is still a chance to vote against it on the floor should it get to the floor. But I just want to echo that I think this is a major step forward and an important piece of legislation to make sure that the American public knows that members of Congress and the President of the United States are not spending their time trading stocks when they are supposed to be working here full-time. Thank you.
But let's be very clear about the timeline. The substitute was distributed on Friday. The modification, most of us, other than Senator Peters, didn't get it.
You want to pass a law about stock trading for elected officials? Great. But don't you dare play games with the process. Don't you dare pretend this is normal governance. Because this ain't it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Donald J. Trump. That's right. Once again, the Democrats and their rhino enablers can't pass a bill without somehow dragging Trump into it. The bill in question? It was supposed to stop insider trading among members of Congress. A worthy cause. We all agree elected officials shouldn't be flipping stocks while supposedly serving the people. But guess what they snuck in? A last-minute modification, removing Trump from the bill's application. Or not. Or maybe. Depends on which version you're reading and whether you had time to decipher it between Friday afternoon and Monday morning. You can't make this up. They don't know what version they're voting on, what's in it, or who it applies to. But we're supposed to trust them with our freedoms, our finances, and our future? And then the smugness. Oh, the smugness. One senator had the audacity to mock another for not understanding computers. Really? That's where we're at now. Mocking colleagues for wanting clarity, not chaos? This is what happens when a bunch of elitist bureaucrats think they're better than the rest of us. They pass bills behind closed doors, in digital shadows, and expect obedience. No debate. No transparency. Just trust us. Well, guess what? We don't trust you. Not anymore. Let's call this what it is, a publicity stunt. They want to look like they're getting tough on corruption, while still protecting their own. They write laws they won't enforce. They create loopholes for their cronies. And they constantly use Trump as a pawn in their games because they fear him. They fear his independence. They fear his connection to the people. And they fear his return. This bill, just like so many others, is more about optics than action. They're not trying to clean up government. They're trying to distract you. America, wake up. The swamp is deeper than ever, and the only way we drain it is by calling out this lunacy every single time it happens. No more backdoor bills. No more midnight modifications. No more smug politicians laughing while your freedoms burn. This is your country. Don't let them run it into the ground while pretending it's a democracy. If you agree, smash that like button, drop a comment, subscribe, and share this video with every freedom-loving American you know. This is Right View Nation, where we fight for truth and we don't back down. Stay strong. Stay loud. Stay free. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.